Imagine pouring your life into your family. $10,500 a month. Years of sacrifice. Only to find them sipping cocktails on a luxury vacation you weren't invited to. I'm Jordan, and when my dad said, "We didn't want you there," my world shattered. They saw me as a wallet, not a son. What happens when you cut the cord and they fight back with lies, guilt, and desperation? This is my story, raw, real, and unrelenting. Stick around for the truth. My name's Jordan. I'm 34, single, and for the last decade I've been the guy holding my family together. Or, at least, that's what I thought. Ever since I landed a decent job as a project manager in Denver, I've been sending $2,500 a month back home to my parents in Ohio. It started small, helping with a late mortgage payment here, covering a car repair there. But over time, it snowballed. Mom's medical bills, Dad's gambling debts, my little sister Kaylee's tuition when she flunked out of community college and begged for a second chance. I paid for it all. Emergencies became routine, and I never said no. Why would I? They're my family. You don't turn your back on blood, right? I'm not rich. After taxes, rent, and my own bills, that $20,500 leaves me scraping by some months. I've skipped vacations, put off buying a house, even dodged dating because I didn't want to explain why I couldn't afford nice dinners. But I told myself it was worth it. I was the reliable one, the son who stepped up when Dad's construction gigs dried up, or when Mom's part-time cashier job couldn't cover the heat, getting shut off in January. They always said they'd pay me back someday, and I believed them. Foolishly, I guess. It was a Tuesday night, March 18th, 2025, to be exact, when everything changed. I was scrolling through Instagram, half asleep after a 12-hour workday, when I saw it. A photo of Mom, Dad, Kaylee, and my older brother Trent, grinning ear to ear on a white sand beach. Crystal blue water sparkled behind them, and Mom's caption read, "Family vacay in paradise. So blessed." The timestamp, 2 days ago, stamp. They'd been gone at least a week, judging by the flood of posts that followed. Trent, posing with a Mai Tai. Kaylee in a bikini by an infinity pool. Dad with a sunburned grin on a fishing boat. A luxurious, all-out trip to somewhere tropical. And me, I wasn't invited. Hell, I didn't even know they'd left Ohio. My stomach dropped. I sat there, staring at my phone, thumb hovering over the screen as my brain tried to catch up. They hadn't mentioned a word about a vacation, not a hint, not a call, nothing. I'd wired the usual $2,500 just 2 weeks earlier because Dad said the roof was leaking again. Had that been a lie? My hands shook as I scrolled through more pics. A resort, fancy dinners, a goddamn spa day. This wasn't some cheap getaway. This was thousands of dollars, way more than they could have scraped together without my help. I called Dad. It was 10 p.m., my time, 11 p.m. Theirs if they were still in the States or wherever the hell they were. He picked up on the fourth ring, voice gruff like I'd woken him. "What's up, Jordan?" "Where are you?" I asked, trying to keep my tone steady. Home," he said, too quick. "Why?" "Bullshit. I saw the posts. You're on vacation, all of you." My voice cracked, and I hated it. "What the hell, Dad? You didn't even tell me?" Silence. Then a sigh, long and irritated, like I was the one being unreasonable. "Yeah, we took a trip. What's the big deal?" "The big deal." I laughed, bitter and sharp. "I've been killing myself to send you money every month years. Dad, and you take some luxury vacation without even asking if I wanted to come? I didn't even know you had the cash for this." "We needed a break," he snapped. "You don't get it. You're out there in your big city life doing fine. We're stuck here, scraping by. We deserved this." "Deserved it?" I could barely breathe. "And I don't? I'm the one paying your bills. Did you use my money for this?" He didn't answer that, just huffed, like I'd crossed a line. "Look, Jordan, we didn't invite you because, honestly, we didn't want you there. You're always so uptight about money, lecturing us. It would have ruined the vibe. The words hit like a punch. I froze, phone pressed to my ear, replaying them in my head to make sure I'd heard right. You didn't want me there. Not we couldn't afford it, or it was last minute. They didn't want me, the guy who'd kept their lights on, who'd bailed them out of foreclosure twice. I was just the ATM, not family. Dad, I said, voice low, I'm done. No more money. Not another dime. He laughed. Actually laughed. Oh, come on. Don't be dramatic. You'll cool off. You always do. No, I said. I won't. And I hung up. That night, I blocked his number, then Mom's, Kaylee's, Trent's, every one of them. My hands were still trembling, but something else was rising in me. Anger, yes, but also clarity. For the first time in years, I saw it. They didn't love me. They loved what I could do for them. And I was done being their wallet. The first few days after I blocked them were quiet, too quiet. I'd expected an explosion right away, but I guess they were still sipping cocktails on that beach, oblivious to the bomb I'd just dropped. I spent those days in a haze, replaying Dad's words. We didn't want you there, over and over. It wasn't just the vacation. It was everything. 10 years of checks, late-night calls begging for one more favor, promises of, we'll make it up to you. All lies. I'd been a fool, and the shame of that burned almost as bad as the betrayal. By Friday, the silence broke. I woke up to a voicemail from Mom, not her usual number. Probably a friend's phone. Her voice was syrupy sweet, the tone she used when she wanted something. Jordan, honey, it's me. I saw you called your dad and he said you're upset. Sweetie, we didn't mean to hurt you. Why don't you call me back? We need to talk this out. I love you. No mention of the trip, no apology, just that vague, manipulative, we need to talk. That always ended with me caving. I deleted it and blocked that number too. Then came Kaylee. She didn't bother with a voicemail. She went straight to email, probably because she knew I'd never open a text from an unknown number. Subject line, seriously, Jordan? I shouldn't have read it, but I did. Wow, you're really gonna cut us off over a stupid vacation? You're so selfish. Mom's crying her eyes out and Dad's pissed. We've been through so much and you're just abandoning us? I thought you were better than this. Selfish. Me. The guy who'd paid her car insurance for 3 years. I laughed out loud, alone in my apartment, and hit delete. Trent was next to my older brother, the golden child who'd never held a job longer than 6 months. He left a voicemail, slurring his words like he'd been drinking. Yo, Jordy, what's your problem, man? You think you're too good for us now? Blocking us? That's cold. Call me back, asshole. No surprise there. Trent only called when he needed cash for weed or bail money. I blocked that number too. By Sunday, the guilt trips were in full swing. Mom got craftier, started texting from random numbers. Probably burner apps or borrowed phones. Jordan, I can't believe you'd do this to me. I raised you better. Then, your father's blood pressure's through the roof because of you. Are you trying to kill him? And the kicker. We're family, Jordan. Family doesn't give up on each other. I didn't respond, but each message clawed at me. I'd spent my whole life wired to fix their problems. How do you unlearn that overnight? Monday morning, I got a call from my boss, Lisa. I was at my desk, trying to focus on a project deadline, when she asked me to step into her office. Jordan, she said, frowning, I just got a weird call from someone claiming to be your mom. She said you're having a family emergency and might need time off. What's going on? My jaw tightened. Mom had my work number from years ago, when I'd stupidly given it to her just in case. Now, she was dragging my job into this. It's nothing, I said, forcing a smile. Just some personal stuff. I'm fine, really. Lisa nodded, but I could tell she wasn't convinced. I spent the rest of the day paranoid, wondering who else they'd call my friends. My landlord? How far would they go? That night, I got my answer. My buddy Mark texted me a screenshot of a Facebook post from Mom. She'd tagged me in it public, for all 300 of her friends to see. "Prayers for my son Jordan," it read. "He's turned his back on us in our time of need. I don't know where we went wrong raising him, heartbroken." Comments poured in. "So sorry, Diane." What a shame. Kids these days. Lies. All of it. They weren't in need. They'd just come back from a goddamn resort. But she'd flipped the script. Made me the villain. My phone buzzed with notifications. Old high school friends. Distant cousins, even my old youth pastor asking, "Hey man, you okay? Saw your mom's post." I wanted to scream. They weren't just guilting me. They were weaponizing everyone I knew. Painting me as the ungrateful son abandoning his poor, struggling family. I could have responded, explained my side, but who'd believe me? Mom was a pro at playing the martyr. I'd seen her do it to Dad's creditors, to neighbors, to anyone who'd listen. Now it was my turn. By Wednesday, the desperation kicked in. Dad emailed me no sweet talk, just straight-up demands. "Jordan, we're behind on the mortgage again. You pulling this stunt means we could lose the house. $3,000 by Friday, or it's on you. No please, no sorry. Just an ultimatum." I stared at that email for an hour, heart pounding. The house I'd grown up in. The one I'd saved twice already. Could I really let it go? But then, I remembered the beach pics, Dad's sunburned smirk and his voice. "We didn't want you there." I closed my laptop and poured a whiskey. Let them figure it out. They didn't stop. Kaylee called my best friend Chris, crying that I'd ruined her life because she couldn't afford her phone bill. Trent showed up on my LinkedIn, messaging recruiters I'd connected with, saying I was unreliable and going through a breakdown. Mom even called my apartment complex's leasing office, claiming she needed my new address for an emergency. Thank God they didn't give it out. It was a full-on blitz, and I was drowning. But something shifted that week. The more they pushed, the less guilty I felt. Their masks were off, and what I saw wasn't family. It was a pack of leeches thrashing because their blood supply was gone. I wasn't their son or brother anymore. I was a resource they'd lost, and they'd do anything to get it back. By the second week, it wasn't just a fight anymore. It was war. My family didn't let up, and every move they made dug the knife deeper. I'd stopped responding, stopped engaging, but that only made them louder, messier, more unhinged. They weren't begging anymore. They were clawing, and I was starting to see how far they'd go to drag me back into their mess. Thursday morning, I got a call from Chris while I was grabbing coffee before work. "Dude," he said, voice tight, "your sister just showed up at my place. Kaylee." She was sobbing, saying you've abandoned them, that they're gonna be homeless. "She begged me to talk to you. What the hell's going on?" I pinched the bridge of my nose, the barista's chatter fading into static. Kaylee lived 3 hours from Chris in Ohio. He was in Pittsburgh. She'd driven across state lines to play the damsel card in person. "She's full of shit," I told him. "They're not homeless. They just got back from a luxury vacation, one I wasn't invited to, by the way. I've been bankrolling them for years, and I'm done. Don't buy the sob story." Chris whistled low. "Man, that's cold. You sure you're okay?" I wasn't, but I said I was. He promised to keep her out of his hair, but I knew she'd try someone else, Mark maybe, or my old college roommate, Pete. They were running out of leverage, and I was running out of patience. That night, Mom upped the ante. Another Facebook post, this one a tearjerker. "I never thought I'd lose my son over something so small. We made mistakes, but we're a family. Jordan, if you're reading this, please come home. We need you." Attached was an old photo me, maybe 10, hugging her at Christmas. The comments were brutal. "How could he do this to you? Such a selfish kid. Praying he comes around." I stared at that picture, my younger self smiling like she was my whole world. and felt sick. She knew exactly what she was doing, twisting the knife, using nostalgia to guilt me while lying to everyone else. I blocked her on Facebook, but the damage was done. My phone buzzed with texts from people I hadn't talked to in years, all swallowing her narrative whole. Friday, Dad tried a new angle. He left a voicemail sober this time, which was rare. "Jordan, I didn't want to do this, but you're forcing my hand. You owe us. We raised you, fed you, put a roof over your head. That money you sent, that was payback, not charity. You cut us off. We're done legally too. I'll sue you if I have to." I laughed, replaying it. Sue me? With what money? What lawyer? It was a bluff, but it showed how desperate he'd gotten. The man who'd gambled away my college fund was now claiming I owed him. Unreal. The weekend was a blur of more calls, more emails, more random numbers I had to block. Kaylee sent a Venmo request, $500, labeled emergency help. Trent posted a cryptic Instagram story. "Some people forget where they came from. Blood's thicker than water, bro." Mom kept the pity party going online, dropping vague updates like, "Still no word from him. My heart's breaking." I stopped checking social media after that. It was too much, like watching vultures circle a corpse they'd convinced everyone else was still alive. Monday hit me with the lowest blow yet. I was in a meeting when my phone lit up, an unknown number with an Ohio area code. I ignored it, but it called again, and again. On the fourth try, I excused myself and stepped into the hall, expecting another sob story. Instead, it was my Aunt Linda Mom's sister, the one relative I'd always liked. Her voice was soft, hesitant. "Jordan, I hate getting in the middle of this, but your mom called me crying. She said you've cut them off and they're in real trouble. She said you've been abusive, controlling with money." I didn't believe it, but she's my sister. What's the truth? I nearly dropped the phone. Abusive, controlling. The words didn't even make sense. I'd spent a decade giving them everything, saying yes when I should have said no. And now I was the bad guy? "Linda," I said, voice shaking. "They've been living off me for years. I sent $2,500 a month, covered bills, debts, everything. Then they took a luxury vacation without me, told me I wasn't wanted. That's why I stopped. They're lying to you." She went quiet, then sighed. "I'm so sorry, Jordan. I didn't know. I'll talk to her." But I knew she wouldn't change Mom's story. Nobody could. That call broke something in me. They weren't just guilting me anymore. They were slandering me, poisoning every connection I had left. I sat in my car after work, staring at the steering wheel, and realized I couldn't keep dodging this. Running silent wasn't working. They'd keep lying, keep escalating until they won, or I broke. I'd been raised to take the high road, to keep family business private. But what good was that when they were dragging my name through the mud? That night, I opened my laptop. My hands hovered over the keys, heart pounding like I was about to jump off a cliff. I'd never been big on social media. My Instagram was mostly work stuff, hiking pics, nothing personal. But they'd made this public, so I would too. I started typing, not sure where it'd lead, just letting it spill out. "I've been quiet about this, but I can't be anymore," I wrote. "For 10 years, I've sent my family $2,500 a month, over $300,000 total. Mortgage payments, medical bills, debts, emergencies. I gave up vacations, savings, my own life to keep them afloat. 2 weeks ago, I found out they took a luxury trip to a resort. I wasn't invited. My dad told me, 'We didn't want you there.' They used my money to exclude me, then lied about me when I stopped paying. I'm done being their wallet. Here's the truth screenshots, bank records, all of it." I attached everything. Transfer receipts, text messages begging for cash, Dad's voicemail about suing me. Then, I hit post Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. Public. No going back. Within minutes, my phone buzzed, likes, Shares, comments. Holy shit, Jordan, that's insane. You don't deserve this. I can't believe they'd do that. For the first time in weeks, I didn't feel alone. People saw me. Not the villain Mom painted, but the guy who'd been bled dry. The family's response was instant. Kaylee called, screaming, "Take it down, you asshole! You're ruining us!" Mom posted a frantic rebuttal. "He's lying, twisting everything. We're devastated." But the evidence was there. Undeniable. Dated. Real. Their lies crumbled. And I watched it happen in real time. The hours after I hit post were chaos. My phone didn't stop. Notifications piled up. Texts from friends. Voicemails from numbers I didn't recognize. The story spread fast. Too fast to control. By midnight, my Facebook post had over 200 shares. My Twitter thread was retweeted by some rando with 50,000 followers. And my inbox was flooded. Most of it was support. Old classmates saying, "I had no idea." Coworkers offering beers, and "You're better off without them." But there were doubters too, strangers chiming in with, "There's two sides to every story," or "Family's still family, man." I ignored those. I'd shown the receipts, literal and figurative. The truth was out there, and I wasn't hiding anymore. My family's counterattack was predictable, but it hit harder than I expected. Kaylee's call, she was hysterical, voice cracking through the speaker. "You're a liar, Jordan. You're destroying us. Take it down or I swear." She didn't finish the threat, just hung up sobbing. Trent went live on Instagram, ranting half drunk. "My brother's full of shit. He's always been a control freak, holding money over our heads. We don't need him." Mom's Facebook post was a novella, 2 paragraphs of tears and deflection. "Jordan's twisted this into something it's not. We're not perfect, but we never meant to hurt him. He's punishing us for one mistake. Dad didn't bother with words. He just emailed me one line. 'You're dead to me.'" I sat there, reading it all, watching their flailing attempts to rewrite reality. Part of me wanted to fire back, to post more proof, the texts where Mom called me her lifeline, the Venmo requests from Kaylee for groceries that somehow always coincided with bar tabs. But I didn't. I'd said my piece. Anything more would have been punching down, and I was tired of fighting. By morning, the tide had turned. People weren't buying their crap. My screenshots, bank transfers, dates, amounts were too solid. A cousin I hadn't spoken to in years messaged me, "Jordan, I saw Aunt Diane's post, then yours. I believe you. They've been pulling this guilt stuff forever." Chris called, laughing. "Dude, your mom's losing it in the comments. Someone asked why they could afford a resort but not their bills, and she blocked them." Even Aunt Linda texted, "I'm sorry I doubted you." They're in a panic now. "You did the right thing." The panic showed. Wednesday, Mom tried calling from a new number, left a voicemail, voice trembling. "Jordan, please, we're sorry. We messed up. The house payment's due and we don't have it. Just talk to me." Thursday, Kaylee emailed, "I didn't mean what I said. I was upset. Can you send $200? I'm broke." Trent slid into my DMs. "Let's squash this, bro. Family's family. No accountability, just hands out, expecting me to fold like always." I didn't respond. I was done negotiating with ghosts. Friday, the real fallout hit. My boss, Lisa, pulled me aside again. "Your dad called the office," she said, eyebrows raised. "Said you're unstable and I should watch you. I told him to get lost, but heads up, he's unhinged." I groaned, apologized, but she waved it off. "Jordan, I saw your post. I get it. You're good here. Don't worry." That was a relief, but it stung knowing they'd stooped that low. My job? Really? It was their last card, and it flopped. Over the next week, the noise faded. Mom's post slowed. Her friends stopped commenting. Probably tired of the drama. Kaylee's Venmo request dried up. Trent vanished from my mentions. Dad sent one more email. "You'll regret this." Then nothing. They'd burned every bridge, and without my money, Their house of cards was collapsing. I heard through Linda they'd missed the mortgage again, foreclosure loomed. But I didn't feel guilty. Not anymore. They'd had a decade of my help and chose a beach over me. Choices have consequences. I spent that next weekend alone, but not lonely. I hiked up near Boulder. Just me in the mountains. No phone buzzing. No emergencies to fix. The air was crisp, the sky wide, and for the first time in years, I breathed easy. I thought about the $20,500 I'd have this month mine, not theirs. Maybe I'd save for a house. Maybe I'd take my own damn vacation. The possibilities felt endless, and that scared me a little. I'd forgotten what it was like to live for myself. A month later, I posted again, not a rant, just a photo. Me, standing on that trail, sun setting behind me. Caption, learning to let go, finally free. No explanations, no drama. The likes rolled in, but I didn't need them. I'd spent a decade tied to people who saw me as a paycheck, not a person. Cutting them off wasn't just about money. It was about reclaiming me. They'd never see it, never change, and that was fine. I didn't need their approval anymore. Sometimes I wonder if they're okay. Old habits die hard. But then I remember Dad's voice, cold and clear. We didn't want you there. That's the truth they handed me, and I'm done pretending it's anything else. I'm not their son, their brother, their savior. I'm Jordan, just Jordan, and that's enough.